Today we're working on a 2015 Mazda CX-9 window regulator motor replacement on the driver's side front door. These are the tools we're working with today. We have a couple of screwdrivers, ratchet, 10mm socket, electric screwdriver, a little pry tool, and the window motor. We're replacing this window motor, and I'll explain more later why we're replacing it and not repairing it. Okay, first we'll remove this plate from in here. Little flat screwdriver. Just gonna pry it out. Put that off to the side. It's just a Phillips in here, Phillips screw. Just one retaining this lock in here. Just pull it out right there. See that? Piece of cake. Now we're going to take this panel off. This is where the retaining bolts are. And you'll need one of these prying tools. And as you just pry gently, especially if it's your wife's car, she doesn't want you to break anything. Nice and easy. Alright, so okay, it's just a bunch of plastic pins, so you have to be super careful or you're going to be in a doghouse, I'm telling you. I did that with the passenger side, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay, so 10mm, yes sir. 1, 2, I only see 2. All right. Okay, lefty loosey. We're just gonna break these. Okay, I said lefty loosey. Right there. If you have an extension, it'll be handy. They're not tight at all, so just you can just unscrew them after you break them a little bit. If you have a magnet, that'll be handy, which I don't, so just gonna have to just pick them up as they fall out. Or just flick them out with a little flat screwdriver there. Put those over this one here. Oh, look at that. What I have here. Okay, it's on the ground. Okay, now our pry tool, plastic. You can use a wife's spatula. I'm just kidding. Or just any kind of flat plastic. Try to use plastic though. Or even like a paint mixer. I use that on the other side, and I think it's in the door. So just we're gonna take this little triangle piece off first. Just pry it nice and easy. It's just a plastic pin here. If you break this, they just slip out. You can always replace that, unlike this little tab here. So again, be careful with that. And now we're gonna try and tackle the actual door panel. You can find a couple places on the side here to start prying the door off. So after you pry off those plastic caps, you just lift up and she should come right off. And all you should do is just basically pull out this handle and just feed it through so you can get this door panel away from the door itself. So to make things a little easier, we're just going to remove these 4 screws, just Phillips, in order to access the window motor from the behind. We're going to give it a little support so it doesn't unspool on us. And we'll do that in just a couple of seconds. This is just a little insurance. And all it takes is, as you can see, just a couple of seconds. Okay, just Just let it hang down there. And okay, so we have our 10mm on an extension and a 3/8 drive. 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3 is all that holds this motor in. We're just gonna loosen them up, and then we'll just take them out by hand. I'll support the back. Back here, and just, at least I'll try to take these out by hand, just to make sure. Okay, just be real gentle here. You don't want this thing to unspool, because then you're dealing with a whole different situation on your hands. And we'll talk about why we're replacing this instead of repairing it. Okay. So right here is what we're trying not to unspool, right here. So you get your cable here, and we're gonna just basically unplug. That's it. That's all there is to it. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this here, but we did attempt to fix this, and by replacing the gear, which we'll show you a little bit later. But the fixing the gear worked, but now the window is doing all sorts of crazy things, going up and down and all sorts of nutty things. So we're just gonna replace this entire unit and hope that that fixes the problem. Okay, here's our new unit. We're just gonna plug it in. We have a little guide pin right here. I'm gonna support it from the back and just wiggle it just a little bit until it gets seated. Okay, we're just putting the screws back in. Just make sure you put it in evenly. Again, no need to go crazy with the torque here. Just nice and snug. All 3 screws. And then we'll be ready to plug it back in. Right here. Click. And we'll put the speaker back on. I'm not sure if we need to show that, but all you do is just 4 screws that we took out. We're just gonna put those back in. All right, we got the speaker back on, just 4 screws, no big deal. Now we're just gonna go ahead and put the panel back on. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is just feed this little control panel back through the door, and then hook the door honey, can you? All right, we got the door panel back on the lip here. We're just gonna push it in, just to lock it in with all the tabs. Same tabs that you undid. Just give it just a little bit of a bang here. We attach the light. We got everything else attached, and now we're gonna test it just to make sure it works. see. Okay. Nice and smooth. Now the auto feature is not working, so let's see if we can address that by pushing down and holding for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pulling up for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Alright, so going down works, and how about going up? Seems to be working. Alright, we're just gonna put the bolts back in there and call this a success. Okay, we're just finishing up this job. We have these 2 bolts back in here, the two 10 millimeter bolts. We installed the screw right behind this little panel here for this controller. And we're just gonna put on this little decorative plate. And this just snaps right in. Just like a piece of cake. So we're just gonna snap this little decorative trim in, and go into this right side first, and then just snap it in. There's not much to it, so there's no need to smash it or bang it or even pry this piece off right here like I did with the passenger side. And you know, I was in the doghouse for a little bit, but now I'm doing the driver's side and it's all lovely. Okay, so that's how you replace the window motor on a 2015 Mazda CX-9. It really wasn't that big of a job, but we did have to replace the entire motor. We tried rebuilding it last week, which worked for 4 or 5 days, and then the window motor went haywire. So that's why we decided to replace it rather than repair it. So if you guys have any comments, please feel free to leave it. Like, subscribe, you know what to do. Later.